message today. So, Spirit has put this, or my guys have put this on my spirit. I've been thinking about it for a couple of days before coming on and talking about it. But it's about completing your spiritual work and the importance of that. So, I have been practicing different spiritual practices or more eclectic spiritual practices for over 20 years. And I have been taking clients for 11 years. So I've seen a lot. And one of the biggest issues that I have noticed about people coming to me for work or even work that they do for themselves, but they come to me to get readings to see what work needs to be done, is that people are not completing their work. They're not doing all the work that Spirit has advised them to do. And believe me, when you go see a spiritual practitioner, what we're giving you is our recommendation from Spirit. No, you don't have to follow the advice. You don't have to complete things. But what I do notice is I find a pattern with people who do not complete all of their spiritual work, but then they'll come back to me 3 months later, 6 months later, a year later, same issues, asking pretty much the same questions. And so when I start, asking them, well, the last time I talked to you, Spirit said you needed to uncross your roads and you needed to cleanse and you needed, some healing. So you needed to focus on Reiki or whatever, or any other healing modality. And I'll ask them, did you do that? And they'll be like, no. And in my mind, I'm like, well, I'm kind of wondering, why are you unclear on what the issue is when you haven't finished doing the work that you were told by Spirit to do? And that can be potentially harmful to you if you are in a very serious situation and you haven't completed your work. When a person comes to me, and a lot of people that do come to me have serious spiritual issues. Okay, when I say serious spiritual issues, these are things that are not going to be remedied by one or two quick spells or rituals. It means they need to commit to oftentimes lifestyle changes, and that they need to be consistent and disciplined in doing the work that Spirit has given to them to do. And oftentimes people, they'll pick and choose what's comfortable for them, or they'll do what they think needs to be done first, and not doing the proper rituals in the proper order. And then they want to know why do their spells, or why does the results not come out right? It's because you're not finishing your work. There is an Odu, an Ifa, that warns against this. It speaks about how someone went to go see Orunmila. We know that Orunmila is the oracle. And Orunmila gave them ebos, sacrifices, offerings that they needed to do. And they came back to Orunmila like, oh my God, my brother died. Why did that happen? I came to you and I did the Ibu, and, Orunmila did more divination, said, well, you didn't completely do the Ibu. So you only got half the results. You are still here. So what you did saved your life, but it didn't save your brother's life, because you didn't finish your work. So you got half the result. So this is the type of thing, and this is an extreme situation, but this is one of the Odus that warns against not being disciplined, not being consistent, not finishing your work. Now, I think this message is coming out at really a very important time. We're about to have a stellium in the sign of Aries. A stellium is when there are three, some say four, or more planets in the same sign. And what that does is it amplifies the energy of that planet. So by the time of the new moon this week, which is going to be on the 17th, we're going to have the sun is in Aries, will be in Aries. The moon will be there. Mercury is slowly moving there. So Mercury will be in Aries along with Saturn, Neptune, and Chiron. Okay. That's a lot of Aries energy. Aries is about getting things done. Aries is about taking action. Okay. So with this emphasis, and then you have to look at the planets that are going to be in the stellium. Saturn is the planet of discipline. It's the Saturn of learning lessons and doing your work. And Saturn and Aries is saying, you need to get busy. You need to do your work. And Saturn, when you don't do your work, when you don't honor what Saturn is trying to get you to honor, when you aren't disciplined in the way that Saturn needs you to be disciplined, Saturn gives out consequences, okay? Remember, Saturn is a malphallic planet, which means malphallic means evil. Not to say that the planet is evil, it just means it's a darker energy. And Saturn can be a difficult taskmaster. So Saturn is sitting in this position too, saying, hey, it's time to get to work. You need to take that Aries drive, that momentum, and get to work. So somebody needs to hear this because somebody has not finished their work. Somebody is going to go call a reader, whether it's me or someone else, with the same situation they had last year, last month, 2 years ago, 5 years ago. It's because you haven't completed your work. You're not getting the full result because you aren't doing the full work. Okay. Spirituality is energy and it dissipates. So you have to consistently do the work, consistently uncross yourself on a regular basis, consistently protect yourself, consistently open your roads, consistently bring in prosperity and abundance and love and the things that you want. You have to be consistent and don't just do the things that seem fun or the things that seem easy. Oftentimes people will come to me and there'll be a course of work. So let's just give you an example. Somebody's crossed, severely crossed. There are steps that one needs to take. The first one is that person needs to protect themselves because they are under some type of attack. And before removing or trying to uncross that person, it's really important to protect them because that process of uncrossing is not a nice one. It's not a pretty one. It can be very painful, okay? So you want to protect. Then you want to uncross. You want to cleanse, okay? Then you want to open your roads. And then you want to do the things that bring back in the positive energy, like you want to do your prosperity work. You want to do your attraction work. You want to do your success work, your blessing work, your love work after you've done those other steps. Sometimes people will come to me and they really want love and they want to know why it's not working out for them, or they really want their prosperity and they want to know it's not working out for them. And they want to jump right into doing the prosperity work, right into doing the love work. And they want to know why it's not getting any results. It's because you're still crossed. You have to do those other steps first before you can then do these to draw in and manifest the things that you want in your life. So this message is for someone. Finish your work. You'll get better results. Even if it's not fun. And I'm going to tell y'all, sometimes doing this work ain't fun. Okay? It's not going to be like you see on TV and, all funsies and gamesies. Okay? Sometimes it can be very exciting in this work. But oftentimes, especially when you're dealing with darker issues, conflict, being crossed or cursed or whatever, and removing that and handling that spirit possession, that shit ain't fun. And sometimes you have to repeat rituals before you actually see results. So if you've been in the situation that you're in for years, one ritual, one time is not going to fix that, baby. And I'm not telling you this so that I can charge you a bunch of money and have you keep coming back to me. Okay, but think about when you go to the doctor and you've sat and been ill with something for many months or many years. The first time you go to the doctor, they're probably going to have you coming back for various types of treatment, putting you on a course of treatment. Think about your spiritual health the same way. These things are just not resolved at the drop of a dime because you say so, okay? All right, y'all. I have one last day of 50% off on my website. Go to Enchanted Divas, www.enchanteddivas.com. This is probably going to be the last half off sale I'm going to be doing for a while. So you want to take advantage of this, especially if you know you got some work done, need to get some work done that you've been putting off, okay? All right, I love y'all. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. Peace.